Hello traders, good morning, good weekend, Vladimir here, and this video is our trading reviews and setups for the first week of September 2016, 5th to 9th of September. Well, last Friday, with the release of non-farm payrolls, we saw at first very anti-dollar reaction, which turned to be at the end of the day some dollar strength, at least for some of the pairs. As I mentioned last weekend and last weekly forecast, we can have as many plans as we want. At the end of the day, such events could be game changers, at least on the short term, of course, because long term cycles at the end will do whatever they need to do. So basically right now, before the Federal Reserve meeting, in terms of the rates decision in the middle of this month, would be just speculations and rumors. If a week ago it was clearly after Jackson Hole, it was clearly that the Fed hints that they will increase the rate. Now, with the non-farm payrolls and the ISM reports published this week, it turned to be exactly the opposite. And now the speculators are very negative about the possibility the Fed will go and actually increase the rates. Now, bottom line, the job market does what it has to do. It still generates around 200,000 new jobs. That was Fed's goal. Around 200, maybe 250, 100,000 new jobs. That was the goal. Now, yeah, this last report was lower, but still, the unemployment rate is in good shape, and the Fed has the data they want. They cannot wait forever, that's for sure. So if the Fed will actually go and make the action, that should happen soon. Will it happen on September, or maybe it will happen later on this year, on December, like it happened on 2015? That's doable, that's possible. But the main question is what the Fed will say, not just do, what they will say. Okay, and based on that will be the entire speculation. This week will be busy week fundamentally. We start with a speech this night of Kuroda. Tomorrow is the Labor Day and bank holiday in US and Canada as well, so the volatility is going to be very low. Don't push the button too fast and too much. And we're back on Tuesday. We have cash rate in Australia, which not expected to cut the rate this time, but surprises could happen. We have the diary price index on in New Zealand. It's tentative because it's not never published on specific time. We have a speech from the Swiss chairman of the central bank. We have GDP in Australia. We continue with the inflation report from Britain, cash rate in Canada, trade balance in Australia and China, and it's going to finish on Thursday and Friday. Mainly, the most important thing would be minimum bid rate in Eurozone and the speech from Draghi, which, for understandable reasons, now put aside, but still we have to remember Draghi still has a lot of pressure on him, and that could also change the things in this side. So let's go to the charts and let's see what do we have here. Let's start with the pair which we were looking to trade, and we traded this week. That was the Euro Pound, and its short was very nice. It seems like we have had the first leg. Let's quickly remind what do we have here. We've had a double cycle. All this let's put the marker here to be clearer. We had this, right? double cycle here, ended down with divergence, so we are after correction. Now it could be a correction like this, or it could be a correction like this, as long as the last stop holds, of course, right? We could also have this. Anyway, it doesn't matter how we turn it around, every rally for us is a sell, right? So dropping down to 4-hour chart, let's put the lines here and let's see what do we have here. We had this, and we are very likely ending this cycle down. It could stop here. I expect one more low and then a correction of 2 waves. Now, once we reach the middle, which is here, and higher, I think it's good time to get ready for resell or add-ons for those of you who are selling again. And one of the classical things to do would be to sell below, say the break below the last important trend line to be developed on this correction. Okay, so our plan was and remains short here. Those of you who are in, of course, from the last week, that it's going, it looks good, it behaves good, and keep in mind, of course, the Thursday news to come, right, from Eurozone and from Draghi, that could again change the perspective. Now, there is a chance, looking on the weekly chart followed with the monthly chart, that we will go for one more push up for a false break. That means like 0.88, 0.90 maybe even. That's doable and possible, and technically even could be correct, just to rebuild this divergence area. That's why I say we remain short in our mind. We hold the shorts from last week, but for those of you who are not in, it's best to get the correction and then and only then look for the reshort if it comes. If not, and we continue with the rally, then let it go for new high, and we will be looking after that for one more false break to happen about new highs. That's the idea. Okay, does it worth to look for possible buys? Only for this kind of scenario. If you pay attention, we have had a false break here, we had one also here. So what could happen is on this area we could also find some kind of bottom false break and attempt to go for rallies. That could happen. That's what we call a range trading, ranging cycle trading, and it is possible to happen this way. I would even give it for like something like 60% chance, as the previous correction of the double cycle was double move down, and that's what brings the possibility of the range very, very, very high. Keep that in mind, guys. Very good setup with a lot of pips. It's pretty good to be in when it's coming. Directly with the euro dollar, I wouldn't deal this week. Simply because I can't really find a good setup. Technically, there are all the reasons for the euro dollar to try this and then prepare some monster sell for us. Fundamentally and technically, there is also all the reasons to continue the movement into waves down like this. So currently we are 50-50, and before the news and Draghi's speech, not quite sure we have the best setup we would like to have and to trade right now. Also note, we had this trend line which is broken and now holding, so it's, and I really think there are better setups to trade right now. Doesn't matter how much we love the euro dollar, it's a bit tricky, let's admit it. Pound dollar, this one is getting interesting as we are breaking above this pattern, so we could go and get these two waves completed. We still have the gap around 136, so technically it's doable. Now if we drop to lower time frame like the 4-hour chart, what can we see here? We can see that after the breakout we had right here, right, we now create some kind of slowing down, so we could go for kind of a bit correction, and if it successfully holds the bullish trend line, right, we can talk about possibilities of longs. So let's see what do we have on the 1 hour chart. We had some kind of a special cycle, right? 1, 2, 3, right? We had a divergence. By ideal, we should get this, and this would be our action zone. So two legs down, and then with the breakout above the most relevant and last trend line to be developed, we should be looking for possible buys, because that could give us the minimum risk position, possibly the maximum profit. I want to remind you that we are still aiming the 136 plus, because due to the bullish gap we have here. Yeah, bullish or bearish, that depends from what angle you are looking at that. But basically, while this trend line holds and while we are above 131, pressure remains bullish. We get it drop down as correction, and we look for buys to improve the risk reward. That's the idea. Break below 131 could blow up the bullish card here, and that's the idea here. Okay, let's continue. The next one is going to be dollar Canadian, and you remember, guys, what we have been talking about here. Despite the possibility of the pair to go and complete this, which is still doable, we still have this trend line which still had the issues, and the latest data coming from there, and the fact that this broken triangle holding, see that it's holding, right, this kind of a wedge here, holding this retest with a bearish hidden divergence, brings back the bearish card. So we have this trend line, we have the last double top right here, double spike top, we have the divergences. It looks good for continuation, and according to all the cycles we have, and as long, we can say it this way simply, as long as the last high holds, we could look for sales. Now we are in a sell from Friday on this setup. It was actually classical because we had this cycle, we traded this cycle, right, on the 161 expansion here, and we had a false break here, the way I love, right, with divergence, and then we got lower lows, convergence principle, again the way I love. We got two waves pull back, again the way we love, and we jumped in on the 50% retrace, and we are holding our sell here. Now those of you who are in, just hold. You are risk free, no reason to do nothing. We had a good risk reward, let it get going. Those of you who are not, this is the possible way. Get it going by this, something like from 129 plus, look for possible retrace. We wanted to see that in 2 waves or 3 waves and sell the breakouts. Why? That's what will give you the best risk reward. So we want to see special cycle here, okay, X, X, double X or triple X by size, retrace back to 38 to up to 50% Fibonacci retrace. Okay, you put it like this, you wait for this area, from there breakouts down, and you can go for sell. Okay, what are the targets we are aiming here? Now, if this range continues to hold, bottom of the range 128 definitely doable. Break below that, and we are after this cycle, guys, which is again doable. See where it comes on next? Well, that's gonna be pretty far. We still will have 123, 124 to deal with this supportive area we have right here. So it's a long way to go, and we have to remember, at the end of the day, everything will lie on what will the Fed do. Plus we have the cash rate in Canada this week. Okay, so these things and these speculations could be very effective. That's why I say we don't want and we don't need to make any hero's call. No one cares about how many times you are right. None of us is analyst. If you are analyst, publishing your analyst or magazine or interviews, whatever it is, that's a different story. Your success rate measured on your predictions rate. But if you are a trader, all you care about, at least I know that's all I care about, is to make profits. I don't care to be wrong 10 times. As long as one time I am right, I make more money of all the times I was wrong. No one cares about how many times you are wrong. Remember that, guys. It's a very, very common mistake traders, especially the beginning of their journey, they do. Like, they think that they measured on how many times they were right on the predictions. No. Who cares? Think about it this way. Take any football player, let's say Ronaldo, Messi, whatever you want, whoever you want, guys. Okay, if he had 10 attempts to score a goal and he scored only once and his team won the title, what will everyone remember? How many times he missed, or the fact he scored the goal and his team won the title? Of course, the second option. The success, the bottom line. The bottom line is what everyone remembers, especially when it comes to trading and make money. That's what you have to remember. Okay? Alright, so let's continue. That was the dollar CAD and one other pair. Let's continue with the dollar pairs and then we move on for the crosses. Dollar yen looks good. We were talking about the bullish ideas and we are still on bullish ideas. The pair is going to move on any of one of these waves. One like this, possibly, or maybe one more low, but further on, or like this. Okay, so we are bullish right now. We want to go long and we need buy dips. We had one false break here with an attempt for convergence in principle, which is good. One more false break could be very, very beneficial. And we have right now very nice level. We have it on 100 here. That's pretty serious level. And I would say this is the zone of action here. Okay, we have the divergence. It started to develop. It looks good. It behaves good. We will probably start to get correction from here or maybe even a bit higher. Look for sells. The best way for sells, I was looking for this trend line, but there was no momentum. We couldn't get any momentum by creating lower low, so it couldn't work out well here. So failed here. This one also, after two waves down, rallied and then didn't provide big correction. So what the best way to do is to get it like with confirmation, and the confirmation means by creating lower lows. Since this low is pretty far currently, ideal setup would be if we can get something like this and like higher highs, one more false break, then lower lows, retrace and sell. This way we minimize the risk and maximize the possible profit. That's what we will want. Now but here comes the but. You have to remember this is only for like scalping or short term, because we want the pullback back to 38.2 or 50, maybe a bit deeper, and we will after buy. So if you want to skip the short sell opportunity, look for the pullback and look for breakouts after that. For the buy side, we want to go buy again, and we will looking only for dips for buys. Okay, this is pretty much the scalping idea, so be careful here when you go for sell. And if you don't have the confidence and do that, don't do that. Wait for the buy opportunity to come. Next one, sorry, I said crosses later on. I always go for crosses on the view. Aussie dollar. Many things will again depend on the Fed, but I want to have two waves push down for a buy. Now we had a triple cycle on daily. We would like to get this and a rally after that. That's doable, that's possible, and that's what I really would like to see. But there is a chance we are still under bullish trend line. We have a bullish hidden divergence. We had a divergence on the 4-hour chart. If this trend line would be broken and we start to gain higher highs, then we maybe switch back to longs. But currently, on the short term, we could still expect something like that, and that would be the ideal. Let's admit it, Aussie dollar currently not on its best setup. I would anyway prefer longs. Okay, don't get confused here. In terms of triple cycle, the ideal scenario would be one more push to 50 or even slightly lower and start the buy positions. So I don't want to deal with sells. I would, by ideal, get this and start to switch for long position. Not by ideal, we are going to stop by a range. We had one false break, two false breaks, so we can start developing a ranging pattern here, and then going to look for buys at the bottom of the range. I am looking for longs here. And here comes the tricky pair of New Zealand dollar. And why it's so tricky? Because we did have a false break on last week. We said we are after possible sell rallies. We did have a rally. And our last stop still holds. Okay? Now, we have a dairy data to come this week. We have this triple still holding. We have the divergence still holding. We can say as long as the last top holds, we can look for sells. How do we look for sells? We had a 2 waves correction, right? Which got us to the 161.8 expansion, even a bit higher. Okay, and the best way for us would be do this. Break, retrace, and versus the last top. If it will be here or here, we will see. I don't know yet. Break when we sell versus the last top, we can go for sells. Aiming the bottom of the let's start with even the middle, like 071.80 and lower. We could aim as first target. Then we will aim 070, and later on we could aim the entire triple cycle of 067.50. Especially if the speculations about the Fed to increase the rates would go and build themselves up. Then it could be really good opportunity. If the last high is broken, we are after 075 plus, which from we are going to switch again for monster sells. And believe it or not, 161.8 correction is right there as well. So technically, we still can climb higher before we actually drop down. That's why I really suggest be careful here and wait for these breakouts. We have had a very nice, interesting cycle here. Okay, we had slightly above 61.8 the correction, and slightly here, right, and slightly above 161.8. So it's not too accurate. Then that's why it's best for us to act accurate. We want the breakout down, retrace, and by minimizing the risk, we can try to sell. Why? Because this way, even if we are wrong 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, we can still make money on the cycle to come later on. That's where risk reward always comes in your favor. Remember that, friend. It's very, very important to understand the entire thing. Alright, so we covered the dollar pairs. We talked about the euro, dollar, pound dollar, and all the rest. Now let's cover, we also covered the euro pound. Now let's go over the crosses. One of most interesting crosses on the list from my point of view is the euro versus the Kiwi. And here is why. According to the daily cycles, we had this 61.8 stop with divergence. By ideal, we should get it going like this. Could I do that? Yes, we do have a bullish pressure. There are all the reasons to do that. Watching on a 4-hour chart, we are facing now corrective cycle of, you got it right, 61.8. Yeah, it's still above this spike, but it's still countable as a correction. Adding to that the last cycle, this one, and what do we get? Same action zone. We do have divergence, but on moving average, this one was broken. So the most important thing for us is to play safe here. How do we play safe here? By gaining momentum. We want to go above the trend line, and we want to go above the last highs. Then, and only then, looking for 2 waves pullback, breakouts, minimizing risk, and try to join the entire rally. Looking on the statistics though, we could still understand that there is a bit further room for sales, and that's possible because the dates, the most important powerful date we have, well, we are now on the 3rd, right? So 3rd, 6th and 9, the beginning of the month, still doable. That's why I say get ready for possible retraces. But if not, middle of the month, like 11, and then we dropped, and then 10, 11, very important days as well, and then we have 19 and 18. These are very, very powerful days as well. So this week and the next week could be great places for the buy. So don't just jump in, gain the momentum first of all, and then long. Remember, friend, no one cares about how many times you predicted right. You have to make money. That's the only thing that is different for real between analysts and traders. Traders are here after money. Next interesting pair is Aussie Kiwi, which I also think we're going for a monster buy. And here is why. Now I was long in my mind, even from here. I am still long in my mind because of the monthly cycle. Yes, currently it's dropping lower. So what? The sell positions have limited profits possible. Buy positions have maximum profits possible. This is exactly why I prefer to be on the buy side whenever the opportunity comes. Now on the monthly chart we had a special cycle. Have a look here. Boom, boom, boom. We had a 1 false break, 2 false break. We are now dancing probably in a ranging zone. So this is going to be our action zone. We have the divergence. We have all the bullish pressure we need. Looking on the daily statistics, we can learn that again, we have the beginning of the month, 2, 6, 7. That's going to happen right now, or the beginning of this month. Very powerful days. Then we have also 10, 12. Very powerful days. And 18, 19. So we can say that the New Zealandian pairs are pretty much the same. These are the days for us to look for the reversals. Going back to our cycles, what we can see here, that on the 4-hour chart we are building also kind of a special cycle. So we want to see it gaining higher highs, retraces, and we are after longs. By ideal, we would get it a bit lower, and here is why. We have this 61.8. We have this 161.8. Ideally, we should get it like 102 and 102.50 and lower. This would be an amazing action zone for a massive buy opportunity. According to the range, possibly back to 113 and then probably higher. So get ready. We're coming. It takes time, but it's coming, and it's going to happen very soon. Okay, get ready, guys. It's very, very serious opportunity. Yen pairs, Aussie yen, longs. We have been talking about that, and my view remains the same. Longs for the long term. On the short term, we still could face this, and I believe there will be some kind of correction here, which we should allow us again to go for longs. Weekly cycle, daily cycle, they all look good, they all look correct, and every pullback we have opportunity to jump in the buys. Stay long there. Euro yen, though, it's also longs. Last week we were talking about this trend line as it's holding, we are after longs, but here comes the but. There is a chance that the bottom still not created, and with the Draghi speech this week, there is a chance that this correction is going to end soon. We have this trend line. Keep in mind here, okay, that could be game changer. Right? We have the slowing down of the divergence here, slowly coming. I would be looking for sells if we break and hold below the trend line versus the last stops, of course, just to gain the bearish momentum and the statistics in our favor. That's all. Could we go for double cycle first of all, like 120? The answer is yes, of course. But if we break below and start to gain lower lows for momentum, it sells. And there is a chance, according to the cycle from the weekly chart, we will still get below 110. So the risk reward in our favor here. Alright, let's continue. CAD franc, another pair we have been talking about not once. We remain bullish in the mine here and keep an eye on this breakout. If this is going to complete itself, okay, if we can complete that, that would be serious call of the bulls to take control. Okay, if it does this breakout, we have the trend line, break, retrace, and we can go for longs. According to the weekly cycle, we should first of all get the two waves up, and that means you have a lot of pips possibly going forward. So hold your longs here, increase your longs accordingly. Gold and silver. Well, we were talking about the sell opportunities. We had this we sell down of two waves, but we might go and continue to move in this range. My plan did not change from the last week. It remains exactly the same, and that's one of that. We could still play this way or this way, still doable from my point of view. Same with silver, just it's a bit tricky with the silver because this trend line was broken, right? So we have the next one like here, and it's pretty far. Two waves completed without any clear divergence in between, but with a bullish hidden divergence. So there is a chance, theoretically, maybe not just theoretically, that we will go and complete this special cycle. Okay, so if we go and break this trend line and gain the highs as they could do, then we will switch to the buy dips idea. If we retrace lower from here and continue for one more low, as also could happen, then we would be looking for shorts back to this trend line, where from we anyway switch for long. So yes, we are after long positions, but ideally we should get one more low. If we break above the last high in the trend line, then we will switch to long the bottoms. Oil. Well, oil is a monster. Oil can do one of the two things here. One, this, and then longs. Two, this, and then longs. That's doable scenario. For us, we were talking about it not once, not twice. We want to buy dips. Watching on the 4-hour chart, we got a monster cycle and a 161.8 reaction. We didn't have any clear divergences yet, and that's what we would like to get. By ideal, a divergence with a false break and the momentum change by higher highs, and we switch again for buys. Aiming, we still for long run. Remember guys, we still for long run would want this. Okay, further continuation down is possible. Then we go to below 40. We could go again to 39, maybe even 37 and 6 before we rally. So that's why we don't rush. We want to get the divergence combinations first of all before we push the button and switch for buys. And indices, our cycle did not change. The only thing changes that if the Fed will not increase the rates for real, then we are going to play still around the 2200. It could still climb even further a bit, but this bearish cycle coming from the monthly chart and the weekly chart combo, that's only question of time. So my plan didn't really change here. The best thing would be, of course, gain the momentum by creating lower lows, which we still didn't get. But my bearish view did not change, and this is why my investment idea remains on. Yeah, it could get annoying. Yeah, it could get ugly. This is why this is only investment ideas currently. That will be all. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. One important, very important note. This week you will hear about Forex Libra code. I've been working and developing this mechanical system long time. You hear me talking about the principle of convergences and momentum will change a lot when it comes to cycle trading. Finally, I can proudly say I've put it all together in one place. And you will get this entire course this week. From my point of view, this is a complete thing and complete game changer for traders. Now, don't get confused. If you make your money, you make your profit, you don't need to change it. Yeah, you could get some good tools for your arsenal, you don't need to change that. So you stick to what you do. But this entire course put in a package here is going to teach completely different approach. I'm not focusing on trading strategy. I'm focusing on trading general. I'm going to teach how to be trader, not performer of a strategy, trader. And that means how to choose the direction right, how to be on a winning side in terms of strategies and mainly cycles, how to be on the direction winning side also statistically, and how to be there in a mindset. All the tools developed are there for you guys, just to make it possible. This is why I allow myself to make a very first time challenge, and my goal is to show you that it's not as hard as people tend to think. And if you stop only looking for strategy and stick to how to become a trader, you can with very big probability finally find your success. And this is why I'm doing that. It's going to be a tough period for me and for you, because I'm going to challenge for real. You for real. I'll need your best performance. If you are serious about your goals, that's the time to put it all together. What you'll get here on the Forex Libra code, you will never get anywhere else. Never. I'm not talking strategies, not talking any indicators, nothing like that. All that, I leave that for storytellers. I'm here to build up traders, not strategists or performer of strategies. I don't care about that. If you want to become tennis player, you cannot rely only on your forehand or backhand or serve. You have to be all around. If you want to be a good football player, you have to understand what football is about and not just how to hit the ball. No. You have to learn to read the game. This is exactly about trading. I don't want you to be performer of strategies. I want you to be trader. If you want the same, this is the time. This is the challenge for both of us. I'm going to kill myself with the performance and the effort, but I believe in this project. I believe in the system. I believe in the principles. I believe in the course, and I believe on the entire program I have built here. I've been working with my beta testers group for a long time, testing, changing, updating, just for one thing, to make sure the final run is the best ever. And this is now, it's ready to come out now. So I hope to see you there. If you are ready for a challenge, and if you are ready to fight for your goals, exactly like I did, and I still do every single day, I invite you to join on the board. And that's all. You will hear about the Forex Libra code a lot. I just wanted you to know first what it is about and how it will actually go and be. If you are serious about your goals, I invite you to do something that never was done before, as simple as it sounds. And for those of you who know me, not from today, not from yesterday, but for a long run, you know how serious I am about my goals. And when I have my goals, I'm going to reach them. And I want you to be part of that and to reach your own goals as well. Thank you very much for your time watching this video and for listening. I wish you an amazing weekend and wonderful trading week. I'm here for you for any question. Yours, Vladimir Ribakov.